everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and welcome to card number 2 for the Countdown to Christmas series. We are going to be casing a card that I found from Lauren Taylor Made, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through. That was the card we are going to be making today, and I used Sugar Pea Designs Eskimo Kisses, Sunny Studio Stamps Polar Playmates, Honeybee Stamps dies called Makin Waves. We used that one on the right, as well as the square stitched dies from Honeybee Stamps. So I already cut out the pieces for it. The white came from the largest square in that set, and you can see there are marks on the top and on the bottom and the sides. We're only going to be worried about the sides as well as that blue piece. Now, if you want to see how I created the blue piece, head over to the video before this, the Team Tiny case hop, and you'll see that video. I'll talk about that in a minute once we start getting coloring. Okay, so the colors that I use, the Copic colors, are E79, E29, and E18. So I'm taking the E18, which is the lightest color, and just mapping out the sections where it would be the darkest. And then I'm going back in with the E79 and flicking markers on here. So I want to thank Leanne, and I will leave her channel below, linked below. I was watching her video today from the Team Tiny Hop, and she gave one of the best pieces of advice I have heard in a while. There is an app that you actually mirror your phone or computer to called A Power Mirror. I'll leave that in the description below, and it is so helpful because I mirrored this on my iPad so I could make sure that everything was in frame. So cool. So thank you so much, Leanne, for that. So anyway, we're just going to go back and forth with the markers in a flicking motion to create fur on this little bear. So I'm going to talk about the hop a little bit. So before this video, you will see the Team Tiny case hop. What casing means is to either get inspiration or copy a technique using a stamp set, something like that from another crafter. So we did a hop today on Team Tiny where I cased Lauren from Lauren Taylor Made, and I will link all of her information below. She does some of the cutest critter cards. She does a lot of interactive cards, and she also crafts with her daughter. Her daughter is going into first grade, which is the same as my 2 older nieces, and I craft with them all the time, at least once a week. I'm going to be doing art classes with them once a week while I have them. They're going to be not doing homeschooling, they're going to be doing virtual schooling. So I will be doing crafts with them. So hopefully I will get my sister's permission and we can do some crafts because I'm kind of jealous. I love that she and her daughter Abby craft together. I love doing it with the girls, and I would like to do a video with them because they're hysterical when they craft. They know how to do everything. So anyway, so when I was doing my inspiration video for the case hop, I had 2 cards in mind because she did 2 lunchbox notes for Abby. And I got inspiration from both of them, and I am terrible with time management. So I created that card this morning, hat off today, so I created this morning, and I didn't have a chance to do both of them. I would have, but something happened at work today. We found out a bunch of other stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that's going on at work, and some announcements came out, so I was on the phone, wasn't at work, but I was on the phone a lot of today. So anyway, so let's get back to, that was R20 that I used, and then I'm going to use my white gel pen, the Jelly Roll pen, to just put the dots in the eyes, and then I also used RV000 for the ears. We are going to be using 2 colors of blue for the scarf. It is E93 and E95. You'll see you have E95 in my hand right now, and then 90, I believe that's 95. Yep, B, not E. What am I thinking? B95, and then B93 as the chow marker. So anyway, I did not get around to getting a chance to make the second card, so I thought that I would do it for the Countdown to Christmas challenge because these were Christmas inspiration cards. So head over to Lauren's channel and check out the projects that she did. They were super cute. And that's B26 that I'm using for his pants. I later on realized that it's probably not pants. It's probably his body because there's no shoes or anything, but I made it pants. So, and then I just went, we used I keep saying the wrong letters, geez. W7, I promise I do know my alphabet, to do the skates. And then we're going to be using G19 and G16 to do the coat. And then I used my white gel pen to make it look like he had a white shirt on underneath of his jacket. So normally I don't leave all the coloring in, but this was not a very long video otherwise. It was pretty basic because I had a lot of the stuff done already, like cut on the side. I cut all the pieces already, and it was just kind of putting it together. So I decided to leave the coloring in, even though I think you can see most of it. And I think the lighting is better now. I got a less wattage light bulb, and I'm really thinking that the lighting is much better than it was this morning. I brought my Target order in and was able to get the new light bulb. So now we are using the clear, and this is the Spectrum Noir, it's called Crystal Clear Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen on the ice. And again, I was looking at the iPad and it's backwards, so I was moving it one way and I kept moving it the wrong way. You can't really see the sparkle in on the screen, but in real life, it is really sparkly. So now I am taking my Copic multi-liner and just adding some eyelashes to the bear. Okay, so then this next part this is the wave that I created when we were in the last video. So if you want to head over to see how I created it, the video before this will show you guys. So I'm just taking Distress Oxide and Broken China and going over the edges and then bringing in a little bit of Tumbled glass to kind of give it a little bit more depth. Tried to pick it up off the side, and instead of dipping it back in, I don't know what I was doing. So just using those Distress Oxides with my makeup brush, and then of course cleaning it off. I wish I had some paper and I would have kept that because that was kind of a cool color, the mix of those two. I like those two colors for ocean or water. So now the next thing I'm doing is taking out my Misty, but I actually changed my mind in a second. Now, if you could have seen me trying to do this, trying to do the measurements, I did this off camera at first, and I kept trying to figure out where I had to put it because I wanted equal borders around the whole outside, and it needed to be 3 3/4 by 5 because a card base is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I needed it to be 1/2 an inch shorter, and there you go again. I don't know what was wrong with me today, but math was not my strong suit. And then I was also trying to line up the stitches. So there you go. The background is inked up, and then I am getting ready to place my characters on, try to figure out where I want the sentiment. So the sentiment is from the Sugar Pea Designs Eskimo Kisses, the same one that the characters are from. And it says, just skating by with a very Merry Christmas. And I just thought that was cute. Lauren had a piece of ice in water in her lunchbox note, so I just thought this was perfect. And I was trying to find a good placement because I accidentally got some of the glitter gloss on the blue panel earlier, and then I tried to scratch it off with my nail, and I left a dent in there, and you can actually see it on the card. It just looks a little bit white. I may actually go back and spray it with a little bit of water so there's little like drops in there to make it look a little bit more like water. So once I have that sentiment in place, I'm going to ink it up with Distress Oxide in Broken China. I used Broken China for the sentiment earlier today, and I just love the way that turned out. I think it matched really nicely with the blue cardstock, and it matches this one even better because I inked up the water with the Distress Oxides. So I think it looks really, really good. I probably, if I was going to do the first card, the one that I did earlier today, I probably would have gone around the edges of the blue panel with some of that Distress Oxide and Tumbled glass. But like I always say, you live and you learn. You know, if I did the card again, I would do it a little bit differently. So I'm going back in with the Distress Oxide and Tumbled Glass, and I'm taking a couple of these snowflakes from both the Eskimo Kisses as well as the Polar Playmates Polar Playmates, and just inking up a couple of those. Now, when I go to do the second one, it didn't stamp all the way down. And I was like, oh man. So I was trying to figure out how I could fix it. It actually looks okay on camera, and I probably should have just left it alone. I shouldn't have stamped on top. I can't stamp on top of it because it's not going to look right. If I actually used the Misty, I could have, but I just wanted to use a block. I couldn't find a block. It was hidden underneath my desk somewhere, and then my cat was annoying me, and I went to go look for the water bottle and found that block, which is more than you guys needed to know. But anyway, I did find one of the blocks that I have, so I just decided to use that and stamp on the background and use the Misty because that foam pad gives a little bit of, it has a little bit of give to it, so it's actually easier to stamp on. So I'm just going back and adding snowflakes where I think they should be. And then I decided to add another one, kind of like they're falling on top of each other. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. So again, just stamping up the background just to give it a little bit of texture. Now, Lauren did this with hers, but I think she used Versamark. So the snowflakes were, if I can remember correctly, snowflakes just had a little bit of background to it. So Versamark is a clear sticky ink, which just is a watermark ink. So it'll leave the impression of it, but there's no color unless you put embossing powder on top of it. So decided to put that off to the side. I will go back and stamp one more snowflake in a minute. Went and got the ice piece as well as the bear, and I had an idea. I was like, well, this sounds like it would be good. It doesn't work out. You'll see that in a minute. I'm using my MFT On Point Precision Glue to glue down the ice. And then I think, oh, well, this would be perfect to pop the bear up on. No, because it looks like he's floating on air on top of it, but not in a good way. Not like he's jumping or anything. He just looks like he's floating, and it looked so awkward. I probably should have put the dots down and then put the bear on top of it without taking the backing off just to see what it looked like. But see, he actually looks better here. In person, I didn't like it. He doesn't look bad. I could have done that, but it didn't look right to me in person. So I took the dots off, and then I'm just going to use my the same precision glue and glue him back down. So just trying to put the backing on that. I probably just ruined those too. But those dots are from AC Moore. So they're very, very old. And if you have those, it's like a sheet of dots, don't throw the sheets away. You can actually, the rest of the dots are actually, you can use those to cut small pieces off and put foam behind it. And they both have adhesive on it. So there you go. I was adding one more snowflake because that snowflake kind of got stuck behind his head. And then I'm just going to put that panel aside to dry. And then we're going to work on the inside piece. Now, I didn't know what sentiment I wanted. I didn't really have one. Sometimes I like to leave them blank. But I do like how white looks on the white gel pen looks on a black card. So I didn't want to put a white panel inside of it. Actually, I'm sorry, I used my ATG and put glue on the back. I thought I let it dry for a minute, but I guess I didn't. I just put it on the back, put it on the front of the card, trying to do an even border around all the edges. And my new thing is I like to go in and do the insides of the card, at least stamp something or stamp a sentiment or whatever. I took 3 of the snowflakes and put a little cluster on the bottom right as well as the top left. And that's going to finish off my card. It was a fairly simple card, but I love the way that it turned out. Of course, like always, if I had to do it over again, there would be a couple things that I would change, but I really, really like the way that it came out. So thank you, Lauren from Lauren Taylor Made, for the inspiration. It was so much fun to watch your videos and figure out which card or cards I wanted to case. And in this case, it was the lunchbox notes. So head over to Lauren's channel. I will have all her information linked below in the more information section. And then here are some still pictures of the card. Hope you guys have a great day, and like, subscribe, and I will see you again real soon for another video. Bye!